know that Goblin had written in that book about his life, that he has seen many people dying in his life and he was never able to forget anyone's death. Earlier, I used to think that this life is a blessing, but now I have realized that life is a punishment which I have to serve until I find my bride. The next day, Ji-Yoon is very happy in Goblin's house, but she notices that Grim Reaper and Goblin use their powers to do all the housework, so she makes a new rule for the house in which she says, "I don't like it that you use your powers to do every task, so you'll have to follow my rules." And in rule number 1, she tells Goblin, "As long as I am in your house, there should be no rain here at all because it can cause problems for people. So I don't want you to feel sad at all because now I have come to you so you don't need to feel sad." And rule number 2, from today you both will not use your powers to do any task because people might get suspicious. And rule number 3, whenever you want to talk to me, don't suddenly appear in front of me using your powers. For that, you can also call me. And after this, she also gives them her phone number. After saying all these rules, she goes to her school. After this, Grim Reaper and Goblin talk to each other, saying, "Now this little girl will decide what we have to do and what not." After this, both of them start laughing. And then both sit together and think, "But how will we call her? We don't even have phones." So Goblin asks Diakhua to bring 2 smartphones from the market, but both of them don't know anything about the features of the phone, so Diakhua explains to them. First of all, you have to go to the Play Store and install apps. But since both don't understand anything, they think that Play Store is the name of a shop, so they start getting ready to go out. And seeing this, Diakhua starts laughing loudly. This scene is really very funny. After this, Diakhua tells both of them all the features of the smartphone, how to make a call, and how to make a video call. In the next scene, Ji-Yoon and Goblin go to a store where Ji-Yoon buys many things. After this, when she comes to her room after shopping, she sees that her room is very nicely decorated. Just then Goblin comes there and asks her, "How did you like the room that I decorated?" Ji-Yoon becomes even more happy after knowing that her room was decorated by Goblin. That's why she enjoys alone a lot in her room and puts up a sign outside that says, "I'm studying, so don't disturb me." On the other side, Grim Reaper is thinking what name he should tell Sunny because he can't tell her his real name since it's not a good name at all. So he goes to Ji-Yoon's room, and seeing him, Ji-Yoon gets quite scared because she thinks Grim Reaper has come to kill her. But then Grim Reaper says to her, "Suggest me a nice name that girls would really like." After this, Ji-Yoon tells him 2 or 3 names and says, "Choose one of these names." And both names are really liked by Grim Reaper. So he starts thinking about what name he should keep for himself. After this, we see the next day's scene, where Goblin leaves food for Ji-Yoon and goes, and there is also a note in it that says, "If your studies are complete, then think a little about me too." But Ji-Yoon doesn't pay attention to this, and now this becomes Ji-Yoon's daily excuse. And Goblin always reminds her that she is Goblin's bride and she has to pull out the sword, but Ji-Yoon keeps ignoring it. So one day, Goblin directly goes to her and asks, "You are my bride, so are you going to do anything about my sword or just keep delaying the matter like this?" Then Ji-Yoon says, "I need a little more time for this, but I have one condition. Until you fulfill my second wish, I won't pull out your sword." Then Goblin asks her, "Which wish?" So Ji-Yoon says, "Did you forget so quickly? Either give me $5,000 or find me a nice boyfriend." After hearing this, Goblin says, "I'm not going to do anything like that." So Ji-Yoon also refuses, "Then I won't pull out your sword either." And over this matter, the two have a fight. After this, Ji-Yoon goes to work at Sunny's shop, where she asks Sunny, "Should boys and girls get married at a young age?" So Sunny understands that she is talking about herself. That's why Sunny asks her, "Do the boy and girl love each other?" To this, Ji-Yoon says, "No." After this, Sunny tells her, "If the boy doesn't even love the girl, then there's no point in getting married." Hearing Sunny's words, Ji-Yoon becomes very sad, and she keeps thinking about that the whole way, that if Goblin doesn't even love her, then what's the point of getting married? So when she comes home, she keeps ignoring Goblin the whole time, and then to make Goblin feel jealous, she laughs and talks with Grim Reaper a lot. And really, Goblin feels very jealous and gets very angry at Ji-Yoon, and says, "You should focus on your studies, not on such useless things." After this, Ji-Yoon says, "With what right are you saying all this to me? When you can't even fulfill my wish, then what kind of goblin are you?" This makes Goblin even more angry, so he asks her, "What wish do you want?" Then Ji-Yoon says again, "You forgot again? How many times do I have to tell you? Find me a handsome boyfriend." So Goblin suddenly says, "Your boyfriend is standing right in front of you." This makes Ji-Yoon feel very awkward, wondering who he is talking about, and she asks Goblin, "Who are you talking about?" So Goblin says, "I'm talking about myself. From today, I'm your boyfriend." This moment is really very embarrassing for both of them, because Grim Reaper is also present there. That's why both of them shyly run to their own rooms. And when Goblin goes to his room, at first he feels a bit confused that, what did I say in anger? But later he becomes very happy that finally he confessed his feelings. In the next scene, Grim Reaper is very sad and thinking about Sunny. Just then, Diakhua and Goblin come and explain to him, if you're thinking so much about her, then why don't you talk to her? So Goblin directly calls Sunny, because of which Grim Reaper has to talk to her. Then Sunny tells him, finally you called. After this, both decide to go on a date. That's why the next day, Grim Reaper gets dressed very nicely and leaves for the date. And as soon as Sunny sees Grim Reaper, she keeps looking at him because really, today, Grim Reaper is looking very handsome. After this, Sunny asks Grim Reaper, what work do you do? To this, Grim Reaper replies, I do a private job, and my job has a few conditions. That's why he says, I can't tell you much about this. Sunny gets a little suspicious of him because of this, but later she considers it her own overthinking and forgets about it. And then Grim Reaper tells her a nice name for himself and gives her the ring back and says, this ring will look good only on your hands, so you keep it with you. After this, they talk a lot with each other and are very happy together. On the other side, we see Goblin and Ji-yoon at home, who are feeling awkward thinking about last night's incident. After this, Goblin goes to her and asks her for a date, and then he takes her to a fancy hotel in Canada using his power. But here, Goblin sees a future scene, after which we get to know that Goblin can also see the future. Here, he sees Ji-yoon in the same hotel, which is a scene from full 10 years later. That means Ji-yoon has now turned 30, and here she is very happy and talking with her friend. Besides that, Ji-yoon has come here to meet a guy. Here, Ji-yoon cannot see Goblin because this is a scene from 10 years later, but Goblin can see her. So he says, even at the age of 30, you look very beautiful, and you are with some guy and very happy too, which means that you can be happy even without me. So maybe now I should leave your life. And anyway, after I go, you'll forget about me. Thinking all this, he feels very sad because he had also started liking Ji-yoon Tak, but now he has no option left. That's why he decides to die now. But at this time, he was feeling very sad. After this, we see in the present that the two of them return home from Canada. And Ji-yoon is thinking about Goblin, wondering why he became so sad after going to Canada. So she asks Goblin, where did this sword in your chest come from? After this, Goblin tells her, this is a matter of at least 900 years ago. I used to be a general of a kingdom, and the king of that kingdom was the one who stabbed me with this sword. He declared me a traitor of the kingdom. After this, Ji-yoon asks him, but why did that king do this to you? So Goblin tells her, I don't know that, but because of me, many innocent people lost their lives. Maybe that's why God punished me with such a long life. But Ji-yoon explains to him, I don't think God punished you. I think you're not such a bad person. Hearing this, Goblin says, no, you're wrong. I'm a very bad person. That's why God punished me. And after this, he starts crying. But Ji-yoon comforts him and says, if you were such a bad person, then your punishment would never end, and you would never meet your bride who can free you from this punishment. After this, Ji-yoon wipes his tears with her hands and says, no matter how you are, I like you very much. Hearing this, Goblin becomes very happy, and after that, Ji-yoon walks away from there. Goblin is still thinking about Ji-yoon's future, that she is going to meet some guy, and thinking this doesn't feel good to him at all. In short, he is feeling very jealous, and this scene is very funny. In the next scene, Goblin is thinking only about dying, about when he should tell Ji-yoon to pull the sword from his chest and when he should leave this world. Now, after hearing such things from him, Grim Reaper feels very bad and explains to him, you don't need to feel bad because you've already lived a very long life anyway. So now you should say goodbye to this world with a very calm mind. On the other side, Sunny is showing Ji-yoon the ring that Grim Reaper gave her. Now Ji-yoon doesn't know who she's talking about. She only knows that there is some guy whom Sunny likes. After this, when Ji-yoon comes home after doing her job, she says to Grim Reaper, Goblin has done a lot for me till now. He freed me from my aunt's family and even got me a part-time job, so now I feel that the right time has come for me to help Goblin and pull out that sword from his chest. Hearing her, Grim Reaper gets very shocked that Goblin is going to die very soon, but poor Ji-yoon doesn't have any clue about this. In the next scene, Grim Reaper is very busy, so he isn't able to meet Sunny or pick up her call, and when he is near the bridge, suddenly he sees Sunny there. To avoid her, he immediately puts a hat on his head and disappears, and Sunny going there is saying nonsense about him. What kind of work does that guy do that he doesn't even have time to talk to me? And she also says, why do I feel that there is definitely something fishy about that guy? And Grim Reaper is hearing everything she says because even though Sunny can't see him after he puts on the hat, Grim Reaper can see everything, so he feels very bad that he isn't able to talk to her at all. But what else can he do? Because he is a Grim Reaper and has a lot of work to do, which is why he can't give time to Sunny. Just then, Sunny starts calling him, and Grim Reaper's phone starts ringing. So Sunny gets very shocked, thinking, where is this phone ringing from? Because there is no one else there. After this, Sunny starts leaving from there, but she is about to fall when Grim Reaper saves her. Seeing this, Sunny gets very scared, wondering who saved her because there was no one else there. That's why she gets scared and runs away from there immediately. And then, in that scared condition, she comes to her restaurant where she asks Ji Yoon Tak, "Do you believe in ghosts?" So Ji Yoon says to her, "Ghosts don't exist." Although Ji Yoon knows the whole truth that ghosts do exist, and she can even see them, she lies to Sunny. After this, we see Goblin, who is waiting for Ji Yoon outside Sunny's restaurant, which makes Ji Yoon very happy. And she goes to him and asks, "Were you missing me? That's why you came to pick me up?" So Goblin says, "Yes, truly. I was missing you a lot." And in his mind he says, "You will become the reason for my death, and now you're also becoming the reason for my life." After this, the two of them spend a very good time together. After this, as soon as the two of them come home, Ji Yoon says to Goblin, "You've done a lot for me, so now I also want to do something for you. That's why I want to pull out that sword from your chest right now." Hearing her, Goblin gets very scared and runs away from there. And this is a very funny scene. After this, when he goes into his room, he smiles remembering all the moments spent with Ji Yoon Tak, but he feels sad thinking that if he stays too friendly with Ji Yoon Tak, then it will hurt a lot when he has to say goodbye to her. So he decides that now he will behave very coldly with Ji Yoon Tak. The next day, he does exactly that. So Ji Yoon finds it very strange that Goblin is suddenly ignoring her and giving off a very cold vibe. So she asks him about it, but Goblin behaves very coldly and says to her, "You are the Goblin's bride, so your job is only to pull out the sword from my chest, not to waste time in other useless talks." Hearing this, Ji Yoon feels very bad, but she gets ready to pull the sword from Goblin's chest. But Goblin isn't ready yet because he is waiting for the snowfall first, because he had decided that whenever the first snowfall of the year happens, that same day he will get the sword pulled from his chest. And finally that day comes, so Goblin goes to Deok Hwa's grandfather, that is his servant, and becomes very emotional and tells him everything, that now the day has come for him to leave. After this, he thanks him for serving him for so many years, and he also says, "After I leave, take care of my bride, that is Ji Yoon Tak." After this, he goes to Deok Hwa and gives him his credit card, because of which Deok Hwa becomes very happy. And then Goblin explains to him that in life, money alone doesn't always matter. There are many other things that matter. But Deok Hwa doesn't understand his words at all and becomes a little confused, wondering what happened to Uncle today that he's speaking so emotionally. After this, Goblin calls Grim Reaper and says, "I have transferred my entire mansion to your name. Now take good care of it, but you must promise me that after I leave from here, you won't take Ji Yoon with you," and later completely erase her memory so that she doesn't remember anything and doesn't feel regret about anything. Goblin now becomes fully ready to leave this world. It's truly a very emotional scene. After this, Goblin gets ready to go on a date with Ji Yoon one last time, and the two of them enjoy the date a lot, which becomes their best moment. And then at night, Goblin says to Ji Yoon Tak, "Today is the day when you have to pull that sword from my chest." After this, Goblin takes her to a beautiful flower field where he used to come often. And seeing this, Ji Yoon becomes very happy because she has no idea what is going to happen here. She just thinks that as soon as the sword is pulled, the two of them will get married. And when Goblin tells her to pull the sword, she becomes very excited, but Goblin becomes very emotional because he knows that after the sword is pulled, he will leave this world. After this, snowfall starts there, and Goblin says to Ji Yoon Tak, "The one I have waited for all these years is you, and I will never be able to forget even a single moment spent with you." Hearing this, Ji Yoon becomes even happier. But then Goblin says to her, "After pulling my sword, whatever happens here, don't hold yourself responsible for it." After this, Ji Yoon doesn't understand this at all, so she ignores this, and as she goes to pull the sword, she notices that Ji Yoon can see the sword but cannot hold it, so she becomes quite worried. And then we find out that this is happening because Goblin and Ji Yoon have not yet truly fallen in love with each other, and until they truly fall in love, Ji Yoon won't be able to touch that sword. And when Goblin finds out that Ji Yoon can't touch the sword, he gets angry at her, saying, "You lied to me that you are my bride and that you can see the sword in my chest." So Ji Yoon explains to him, "I never lied to you. I really am your bride, but I don't know why I'm not able to touch the sword in your chest." Goblin becomes even angrier and is saying something to her, so Ji Yoon kisses him. And this moment becomes quite awkward for both of them, so they both leave from there. After this, when Goblin goes home, he sees that Deok Hwa is crying a lot because he has also come to know the truth that now his sir will never come back. And as soon as Deok Hwa sees Goblin, he becomes very happy and goes and hugs Goblin. But Grim Reaper becomes very shocked because he had even dreamed of becoming becoming the owner of this house, and now he thinks Goblin will take the house back from him. And just then, Goblin asks Diakwa for his credit card, but he refuses to give it back and says, "You gave it to me as a gift, now I won't return it." After this, he asks Ji-yoon for $5,000, so she also refuses and says to him, "I love you." But Goblin doesn't care about her words at all because he knows that she is saying all this to avoid giving the money. And when it's Grim Reaper's turn, he thinks that if I also say "I love you" to Goblin, then he won't take the house back from me, so he also says to him, "I love you." And after hearing this, Goblin laughs a lot and asks him, "Are you in your right mind?" The next day, Grim Reaper asks Ji-yoon-tak, "Why didn't you pull out Goblin's sword after all?" So she tells him the whole truth, that I can see his sword, but I can't touch it. After this, Grim Reaper also starts thinking deeply. How can this be possible? Meanwhile, Goblin comes there and tells Ji-yoon to wash all the dishes in the house, which Ji-yoon happily agrees to because she is afraid that if she doesn't agree, Goblin will throw her out of the house. After this, Goblin slowly starts making her do more work like washing clothes and cooking food, because of which Ji-yoon becomes very troubled and says to him, "You told me that whatever happens after pulling the sword, don't hold yourself responsible, then why are you punishing me?" To which Goblin doesn't give her any reply. In the next scene, Grim Reaper tells Ji-yoon-tak, "I feel like you two haven't had true love yet. That's why you can't pull the sword." After this, Ji-yoon tells him, "We even tried that," and is about to tell him about the kiss when Goblin arrives and says, "How can you tell everyone about our kiss?" Because of this, Grim Reaper finds out that there was a kiss between the two last night, so he becomes very shocked and thinks to himself, "I can't even talk properly with Sunny, and these two are openly kissing." In the next scene, Ji-yoon finishes her high school studies, so it's her last day at school. And after the holiday, all the students' parents have come to pick them up, because of which Ji-yoon starts missing her mom a lot. And when she reaches home crying, she sees that all the people at home are congratulating her for passing with good marks and also throw a small party. And when Ji-yoon is cutting the cake, she makes a wish to go on a date with Goblin, to which Goblin also becomes very happy and says to her, "Get ready, your wish is fulfilled, let's go on a date." And hearing this, Ji-yoon becomes very happy. And when the two go to the theater to watch a movie, Goblin says to her, "I'm telling you in advance, when a horror scene comes, don't scream and embarrass me in front of everyone." And Ji-yoon agrees to this. And we see that when a horror scene comes in the movie, instead of Ji-yoon-tak, Goblin starts screaming in fear, because of which everyone gets disturbed. And Ji-yoon says sorry to everyone. And then Ji-yoon scolds Goblin, saying, "You were telling me not to be scared, and now you're the one screaming like a child in fear." Truly, this scene is very funny. After this, she asks Goblin, "One thing I don't understand. On the day I was supposed to pull your sword, why did you give your house to Grim Reaper and your credit card to Diakhua? Were you going somewhere, or did you happily give all that because your sword was going to be pulled from your chest that day?" To this, Goblin says to her, "I had already told you that when I find my bride, I'll have to go somewhere for a very long vacation." And hearing this, Ji-yoon feels very bad. On the other hand, we see Sunny, who is locking up her restaurant, and just then a man comes and starts bothering her on the road, and Grim Reaper is secretly watching her. So he feels very bad and uses his power to push the man, and the man falls down. Sunny then becomes very scared and thinks to herself, "What is happening to me these days?" In the next scene, we see that after Ji-yoon completes high school, she gets admission to college, and there she meets her childhood friend Tai-hui, which makes Ji-yoon very happy. Tai-hui is also meeting Ji-yoon after a long time, so he happily pats Ji-yoon's head. Just then, Goblin arrives, and seeing the two together, he feels very jealous. When he comes home, he is thinking about this boy and says to himself, "I feel like cutting off the hand that touched Ji-yoon's head." Just then, Ji-yoon also comes, and Goblin asks her, "Who was that boy with you in college?" Ji-yoon tells him, "He's my childhood friend Tai-hui, and I have liked him since childhood." Hearing this, Goblin gets very angry and asks, "What does he have that I don't?" Ji-yoon replies, "He's a very good baseball player." The next day, Goblin goes to see this boy to check what he has that Goblin doesn't. But when Tae-hui sees Goblin, he starts remembering something, and then a flashback is shown of when Tae-hui was very small and playing baseball on the ground but wasn't playing well. At that time, Goblin taught him how to play baseball. After this, Tae-hui recognizes Goblin and asks him, "When I met you, I was very young. How is it possible that you haven't aged and still look the same?" Hearing this, Goblin gets upset and tells him, "You must have seen someone else," and then leaves. When Goblin comes home, he tells Grim Reaper the whole truth and says to him, "You need to erase the boy's memory so that he doesn't remember anything about me." But Grim Reaper refuses to do so. In the next scene, Ji-yoon goes to meet Tae-hui, and Goblin feels bad seeing all this. When he returns home, he sees that Grim Reaper is very troubled because Sunny keeps calling him, but Grim Reaper is too scared to talk to her. So he asks Goblin for help, saying, "Please answer the call and talk to her." But Goblin also refuses to help and says, "You didn't help me that day, so I won't help you either." Thus, Grim Reaper immediately goes to Ji-yoon place, where Tai-Hui is also present. Tai-Hui asks him, "Are you Ji-yoon, father?" This question makes Grim Reaper very angry, and he starts staring at Tai-Hui. Ji-yoon tells him, "Why are you here? Please tell me," and then says to Tai-Hui, "Stop looking at his eyes because anyone whose eyes Grim Reaper looks into forgets everything." After this, Grim Reaper threatens Ji-yoon talk. "If you don't pick up this call, I will take this boy away from here." Ji-yoon gets very scared. So reluctantly, she picks up the call. When she picks up the call, she says to Sunny, "Our director is very busy right now, so he can't talk to you." Sunny then says, "Tell your director that if he doesn't meet me tomorrow at 1 o'clock, I'll kill him." Ji-yoon feels like Sunny's voice is familiar, but she can't fully recognize her. After this, Ji-yoon tells Grim Reaper, "That girl is asking you to meet her tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Grim Reaper asks her, "When two people go on a date, can you tell me what a girl might ask a guy?" Ji-yoon tells him everything. The next day, when Grim Reaper goes to meet Sunny, he starts reciting his name, address, preferences, and everything like a parrot. Sunny finds all this very strange. After that, Grim Reaper says to her, "I missed you a lot." And hearing this, Sunny becomes very happy and forgets the previous conversation. The two then spend a great time together and talk a lot. In the next scene, Grim Reaper goes to meet his friends where there is a huge party. And when the party ends, Grim Reaper has to make a payment because he is their senior. But then he remembers that while coming here, he had bumped into a man who stole his wallet. And when Grim Reaper's friends find out about this, they all wear their own hats and disappear because they are all also Grim Reapers. After this, when Grim Reaper also starts disappearing, he realizes that someone has stolen his hat too. So he gets badly stuck, and the police arrest him for not paying money. After this, Grim Reaper directly calls Goblin, and when Goblin arrives there, he refuses to help him and says, "I don't know this person." This makes Grim Reaper feel very bad, and then he says, "Please, brother, save me from here. In return, I will help you erase Tai-Hui's memory." After this, Goblin saves him from the police station and takes him home. In the next scene, Deok-hwa's grandfather has sent a painting of Goblin's sister, and when Deok-hwa brings the painting, he sees that Goblin is not at home, so he gives the painting to Grim Reaper, and as soon as Grim Reaper sees the painting, he starts crying a lot. Now, why he is crying, we will only find out later. After this, we see a past scene where we see the same king who had Goblin killed. Here, that king is looking at Goblin's sister who is playing with her friends, and by looking at both of them, we can tell that they liked each other. Now, as the story returns to the present, we see the fairy godmother, who is feeling bad thinking about the fate of these two because she already knows everything. In the next scene, Goblin is with Ji-yoon and asks her, "Why do you hang out so much with that boy?" To which Ji-yoon tells him, "You don't need to feel bad.